One man says he is destined to rule South Africa. Another man is already sitting in the highest office in the country. But now, after years of political scandals, corruption accusations, public anger, and growing frustration inside the ruling party itself, a dangerous question is starting to echo across South Africa. What if Julius Malema is no longer just talking? Because for years, many people dismissed him as loud, controversial, and impossible. A political firebrand who knew how to dominate headlines but could never truly reach the union buildings. But suddenly, things are changing. President Cyril Ramaphosa is under pressure again after fresh political battles linked to the Phala Phala scandal. Parliament is facing accusations of protecting power instead of accountability. Public trust is collapsing. And right in the middle of this chaos stands Julius Malema, smiling, confident, and openly declaring that he will become president of South Africa. And what makes this even more unsettling is that some South Africans are beginning to believe him. Before we continue, like this video and subscribe to stay updated on South Africa's biggest political investigations, corruption scandals, and power struggles. Because this story is no longer just about one politician. It is about anger, power, revenge, and a country that may be entering one of the most unpredictable political periods since the end of apartheid. To understand why Malema's words are creating so much attention right now, we need to go back years before this viral video surfaced. Julius Malema has never been a quiet politician. From the moment he entered national politics through the ANC Youth League, he built his image around confrontation. He challenged senior leaders publicly. He attacked corruption while also facing accusations of benefiting from political connections himself. He spoke directly to frustrated young South Africans who felt abandoned by the promises of democracy. But things changed dramatically when he was expelled from the African National Congress in 2012. That expulsion was supposed to end his political career. Instead, it created something far more dangerous for the ANC. Malema went on to form the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF, a party built on radical economic transformation, land redistribution, anti-corruption messaging, and aggressive opposition politics. Many initially laughed at the Red Berets. Critics described the movement as political theater. But over time, the EFF became one of the most influential opposition forces in South Africa. And Malema understood something important very early. Outrage creates visibility. While traditional politicians carefully managed public appearances, Malema mastered viral politics. He turned parliamentary confrontations into national spectacles. He attacked billionaires, exposed government failures, and positioned himself as the voice of angry citizens who believed the system only protected elites. But here's where things get disturbing. The conditions that helped Malema grow politically have only become worse over time. Malema understood the political opportunity immediately for a tighter 6-minute video. Writing. And Malema understood the political opportunity immediately. Every scandal inside the ANC creates space for opposition parties to grow. Every corruption allegation weakens public trust. And every internal conflict inside the ruling party becomes political fuel for Julius Malema and the EFF. That is why his recent statement shocked so many people. When Malema declared, "I'm going to be president of this country," he did not sound like a politician joking around. He sounded confident, calculated, almost like someone who believes South Africa is moving closer to a political turning point. And this is the part few people are talking about. South African politics is changing very fast behind the scenes. For decades, the ANC dominated national politics almost without challenge. But today, things are different. Public frustration is growing. Coalition politics is becoming more important. Younger voters are losing trust in traditional leadership. And opposition parties are becoming louder and more aggressive. That does not mean Malema is guaranteed power. Far from it. The EFF remains one of the most controversial political parties in the country. Critics accuse Malema of using dangerous populist rhetoric. Business leaders have warned that some of his economic ideas could damage investor confidence. Others believe his leadership style is too confrontational for a country already dealing with deep division and economic pressure. But politics is not always about who is most loved. Sometimes it becomes about who understands public anger better than everyone else. And Malema has spent years building his political image around frustration, inequality, corruption, and economic pain. What makes this moment even more complicated is that many South Africans no longer fully trust any side. Some citizens are tired of corruption scandals linked to the ANC. Others remain suspicious of Malema himself and question whether he truly represents change or simply another version of the same political culture. That contradiction has now become one of the biggest debates in South African politics. Is Julius Malema genuinely positioning himself as a reformer? Or is he simply using public anger to move closer to power? Social media reactions to his viral video exposed just how divided the country has become. Supporters praised his confidence and described him as fearless. Some argued that he is one of the few politicians willing to challenge powerful elites directly. Others said his rise reflects growing frustration among young South Africans who feel abandoned by the system. But critics reacted with fear. Some warned that a Malema presidency could create economic instability. Others accused him of manipulating public emotions for political gain. And several commentators argued that South Africa's democracy could become even more unstable if politics continues moving toward anger-driven populism. But here's where things get even more serious. South Africa's future may no longer depend on one dominant political party. Coalition politics is slowly changing the balance of power. Smaller parties are becoming more influential. Political alliances are becoming unpredictable. And in coalition governments, influence can matter just as much as outright victory. That means Malema may not even need complete national dominance to shape future leadership battles. And that possibility is making many political analysts nervous. Because coalition politics often creates instability, secret negotiations, and sudden power shifts behind closed doors. At the same time, ordinary South Africans continue facing rising living costs, unemployment, electricity problems, and growing frustration with corruption scandals that never seem to end. Under those conditions, anti-establishment politicians often become stronger. And Malema understands that better than most people. What happens next now depends on several factors. Ramaphosa could survive politically and stabilize his position inside the ANC. Opposition parties could struggle to unite effectively. Or public frustration could continue growing, weakening trust in traditional leadership even further. But one thing is becoming clear. Julius Malema is no longer speaking like a politician trying to stay relevant. He is speaking like a man who believes history may finally be opening a door for him. Whether that becomes reality or not remains uncertain. But his growing confidence reflects something much deeper happening inside South Africa right now. A country exhausted by corruption scandals. A population frustrated by economic hardship. And a political system facing growing pressure from all sides. Because sometimes political outsiders do not rise simply because they are powerful. Sometimes they rise because people lose faith in everyone already in power. And that may be the most dangerous warning hidden inside this entire story. Comment below. Do you believe Julius Malema could realistically become president of South Africa one day? Or is this simply political theater designed to capture public anger?